It's much more exciting, this conversation, definitely. I was thinking multicolour swap shop, that's what I was thinking. Not in the colours, just tis was.
That was a shot.
That's good.
See, that was more...
The Phantom Flanger.
The Phantom Flanger.
Right, I suppose we've got to do some work.
I suppose we should, really.
Seems like at least 2 weeks since we were here.
I know, it's bizarre, isn't it? Sean, how are you?
Good, thank you.
We're good. Let's start with the injury situation. How's your squad looking?
Ben Gibson's got to see a specialist, just about a sort of groin sort of ache and pain that he's had. So we'll find out more on that one. Stephen Defoe's doing really well. He's been with us for over a week now on the grass, literally training with us every day, which is a start point, a very good start point. He's looking well, feeling well. So he'll start a games programme, we're hoping, next week if all goes to plan. I say a programme, it won't be one game. He'll need, a couple of games to build into it, and certainly building up to at least the 90 minutes. He's kind of in the midway through a pre-season, if you like, in front of it fitness-wise, but obviously through his injury to make sure he's well. Robbie Brady's back on the grass with us, but only a couple of days in, so he'll maybe start his games program slightly behind Stephen to make sure that he's well. Johan's good. He's been clear, so that's good. It's kind of nearly getting people back, and it's getting closer all the time.
Stephen Ward okay?
Yes, Stephen Ward, he come back with a knock and he's fine.
The rest are more sort of long term is Nick Pope and Lindegaard.
Lindegaard's pretty close. He's been actively training. Nick Pope's just going along well. No timescales on Popey yet, but going along nicely.
So how has the international break been for you? What kind of things have you been
It's
up to?
been good. I think we tried to find that, all clubs, including ourselves, tried to find the right balance between work and rest, which we did, and we're quite happy with that. I think it was good for us this time round. A lot of games, a lot of different scenarios, a lot of travelling, a lot of different challenges. So I kind of cleared the mind thing. Obviously, some lads went away with the countries, of course, and played and were a part of different situations. But the lads who stayed here had a good working spell, a few days off last weekend, and then worked again this week. So I think this one has been needed, I think, just to not even refresh physically, there's a bit of that, but also refresh mentally and remind them of the challenge that's coming.
As much as an adventure as it was to be in the Europa League and great for the fans and all the rest of it, are you kind of sort of drawing a line now and looking at it after this break and thinking, right, okay, effectively, to some degree, our season starts here?
I don't think it's literal, but there's a version of it in the sense that, I said to the lads, it's a restart because it's been so different for us. I think if you're familiar with the Europa scene and how it works and all the quirks to it and all the travelling, then I think that's different. Some clubs have been familiar with that. For us, it was new, it was something different. So to work our way through that and then to come out the end of it, then it is slightly a restart because you get that break. And it is literally the next game to come in and we move forwards.
So how impressed have you been by the way Wolves have gone about things so far?
Yeah, gone very well. I was impressed with them last season. I mean, I thought they'd invested wisely last season for very good players. I think they've added again this season, but kept the core, of course, of players who got them to where they are. They look like a good outfit to me. I think they've got a good mixture of some real talented players, but also some pace, and they've defended well so far this season. So, I think it's yet again another strong side who's come up and invested in the side, which makes it an even bigger challenge. But, it's fair to say they still are new to it as well, though. And it is different. The more games you play in the Premier League, as much as you get more experience, the novelty aspect can wear off. I think it's hard playing these teams early because everyone's really up for it and there's that new feeling. I think that, as the season grows, or certainly in my experience of our side, it gets different. Around the Christmas period, going into New Year, it's different. So sometimes you could view it as a tough time to play these teams because they come up at a stage when they're really excited by it all, got some good players, invested, etc., etc. But we take on the challenge gladly.
Just finally from me for the moment, West Ham boss Manuel Pellegrini's been bemoaning the fact that his team sheets are getting leaked, sort of 4 or 5 hours leaked out into social media. Sometimes sort of 4 or 5 hours before the game starts.
Social media getting something.
I know, it's hard to believe, isn't it?
Anything.
Do you think that gives any sort of advantage to anyone? I mean, if a squad's released and a manager can kind of have an idea of what he thinks the opposition team is going to be like, does it make much of a difference if it comes out?
I think it depends. I think it depends what type of game it is. I think it depends what work you've done with your team. Are you doing it because you're doing it for your team no matter what? whatever the opposition plan to do. Sometimes you're doing work with your team because there might be an awareness of the opposition where you're specifically tailoring something. So I think it depends. I think it's more of a from my
trust issue.
I was going to say it's more of a. But then the challenge that players have, you've got to tell someone. You're probably going to tell someone. And if that's someone, it's not always vicious, by the way. It could just be loose lip sync ships. Someone's just chatting away and they're just saying, I think he'll be playing, and I think I think he said it was the same team. It doesn't not always vicious. You could say that to an agent, you could say it to a friend, you could say it to your missus, whoever. Sometimes it gets out there. Some managers I know down the years have not named the team until literally an hour-ish, hour and a half before the game. But that's not so easy if you're working on, obviously, a tactical idea and the planning of the team. It's not so easy then. But yeah, it's one of them things, I think.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you. Okay, thumbs up, please. That was quick.
Well, I'm doing the...
oh, yeah. Sorry, of course. Yeah. Special in-depth piece. We talk about Bungle. Jeffrey. Yeah, of course. Yeah, silly me. Just the start for 10.